So we've been very fortunate and blessed that we've had a number of successful industry partnerships. In fact, over my 25-plus-year career at UofL, we probably worked with 50-plus different groups in industry, anywhere from really small startup companies of just a few people up to more well-established companies that still fall under the 500 employee criteria for a small business, but have many more resources where you're talking about potentially hundreds of employees. And so what we learned in developing a successful relationship is not to go necessarily with your hand held out, hey, give us money, or hey, grab our idea, but to treat them as the customer. Just as they're coming to you looking for your experience and your expertise, whether it's clinical, engineering, or testing in different types of models, is to go to them and show an active interest in what they're doing and recognize the resources and the information and the experience and expertise that they provide. That really, to have a true collaboration, it's not just demonstrating what you can do, but also recognizing what they have to offer. And then, openly being willing to openly share and have a dialogue with them in terms of what you can do, as well as respond and to work with them. And so I find that the more you're willing to give and willing to share, the more you get back. And so to me, that's really been kind of the success in doing it. And then once you demonstrate that, and again, it can't happen. A lot of times industry flies in and they come and they visit you for a day or a half a day, or you meet somebody at a conference and you meet over dinner and you have a short period of time. Relationships aren't built in one meeting or built overnight. It takes time. You have to have that level of trust. You got to demonstrate that you have the work ethic, that you have the passion, that you have the interest, not just on a technological or on a clinical level, not just in terms of what you bring in terms of your experience of expertise, but also personally, especially international relationships. They value you as a person just as much as they value you as a professional. And so you've got to develop that relationship, which is a give and take relationship. And so what we find is a lot of our successful relationships start off with something really small. So you find a small project or a small experiment to do together, and you demonstrate through each other's interactions that you can deliver on what you're proposing to do. And so a lot of times what I'll tell industry, if they're interested in doing a phase 1 SBIR grant, is great. Let's identify a clinical need. Let's put together, what we think that solution is, and then let's do something very small together. Let's do a small experiment. We'll contribute this, you contribute this, let's work on it together, let's analyze the data together, and then let's put together a proposal. Because if you can write a phase 1 proposal together, then you have what it takes to take it the next 5+ years to a commercial level product. So for me, I always like starting off with something small, and normally companies will come, hey, we got 10 different ideas. I'm like, well, let's pick the easiest one first. What's the low-lying fruit? What identifies the most important clinical need? What has the potential for the best type possible outcome? And let's work on something very simple and easy to achieve together. And so, that's sort of been the approach for us. And a lot of times what ends up happening is if you're successful on one project, then a number of other projects will come from that. Something as simple as a phase 1 will then become a phase 2. And if you're successful in that phase 2, then maybe another phase 1 will follow. Or the other thing that a lot of times will happen is you'll build a reputation. People in industry all know who everybody is. We know who all the major players in industry are in our area in terms of medical devices. Similarly, everybody in industry knows the different academic institutions and what they offer clinically, pre-clinically, and from an engineering standpoint. And very quickly, you can establish yourself as a go-to institution that gets things done and are a good group of people to work with. And so to us, that's sort of been the key is, demonstrate small successes, generate greater successes. And then a lot of times industry will come back for additional work, or they'll recommend you to other people that are either at an early stage, mid stage, or later stage development that'll say, hey, look, this is a great group of people to work with.